successful creative workspace is where you combine structure, functionality, and workflow efficiency. Welcome to my studio tour. When I first set up the studio, I knew I wanted something really vibey. Your home studio isn't just a studio where you record music. It's where all your ideas come into play, your creative workflow. It's everything that makes you you as a musician and songwriter. When I got my studio set up, I knew I needed a very wide desk. I know a lot of home studio musicians prefer like the standing or the electronic desks, but I just needed something that was going to be wide, that would give me a lot of room to work with, because me personally, when I feel like I'm cluttered or things are not where they're supposed to be in my studio, I feel like it hinders my creative workflow a little bit. So I wanted to make sure I had a desk that was reliable, sturdy, could hold all the equipment that I have on here, while at the same time giving me enough room to work with. I've never really been a fan of having a lot of different third-party plugins. I use a lot of stock plugins. A lot of equipment that I use are either rack-mounted equipment, or you could even tell by the way I record my music. I record the guitars with an SM57 going straight into my Boss Katana MK2. I've always liked the sound of a guitar going through an amplifier. I've never been a fan of processed guitar sounds. It never really meshed with me. I just like that raw sound of a guitar, and whenever you hear a recording, you can definitely tell the difference. Let me take you through the process of how I record guitar. I go through my guitar amplifier with an SM57, and that goes through my Universal Audio 4710D, and that goes right into my Scarlett Focusrite AT&I-20 interface. The one mistake I made about this particular place that I'm renting out for my recording studio is that it is carpeted. Was not really thinking at the time. I just really liked this place, and I ended up getting it, not thinking I would have preferred either laminated or hardwood floors, put down a carpet, so it's all carpeted. So unfortunately, I can't use my HS7s, which is, it's definitely, you know, it's really unfortunate, but I ended up getting some Sennheiser HD650s. Thanks to Sweetwater, I got it before the price ended up going to like $600. I got my pair for $400. I have that paired with SonarWorks ID Reference, and it's really good. If you've ever used SonarWorks ID Reference, it's great if you're trying to not only record, but you can test out your mixes with all the different sources that are available, whether it's like a phone, car speakers, any kind of external speakers, AirPods. So that's how I've been doing a lot of my mixing, through my Sennheiser HD650s with the SonarWorks software. I've been interested in writing and recording music since the early 2000s, back when my dad was still working with a lot of analog, and this is the time when analog went to digital before everybody went into using a MacBook Pro or using a PC or some kind of computer peripheral. So I was around during that transition from analog to digital to computer peripherals, and it's just amazing to see how far technology has progressed in such a small amount of time. We're talking less than 2 decades. I do believe that's what contributes a lot of my recording style, because I grew up during the analog and digital days where the only way you would be recording guitars, I mean, I think there were some preamps that you were using, but a lot of people were recording through Shure SM57s or some kind of dynamic microphone going into an amplifier. Now the way I like to do it, so pretty much with my SM57, where the cone is, I go between the center and the edge of the cone, and then I slightly angle it. You got to play around with it. The biggest difference when it comes to how your guitar sounds is, of course, it's going to be your pickups. But a lot of people think that it's really your pedals. It's not so much your pedals, but it's how you angle your microphone. Microphone placement is probably the biggest role in what your guitar is going to sound like in your recording. That's the way I like to do it. So again, I don't want to really go too deep into that. Just kind of wanted to explain my thought process, my vision, and how I record guitars in the studio. I've been a Mac-based user for over a decade, and my go-to's been Logic Pro. I started with GarageBand. I also went to Full Sail University to study mixing and audio engineering. That's where we started using Pro Tools. I will use Pro Tools from time to time, but I've always been a fan of just using Logic. I've just been used to it for, like I said, over a decade, so that's always been my go-to. I have a couple guitars that I like to use. I have a Wolf custom-made guitar with Seymour Duncan Invader pickups that my dad custom made for me. I also have a Stratocaster HSS with a Shawbucker humbucker pickup, and I have my Gibson Les Paul Standard, which has been my dream guitar for the longest time. Surprisingly, I've been using my Wolf custom guitar, so if you ever see a guitar in my music videos, like the Stacy's Mom music video, and I believe the Kryptonite music video that I did, that's the guitar that I've been using. The point that I'm trying to say is, I've been using the cheaper guitars a lot more than my Gibson Les Paul that was like $3 grand. The bass guitars that I record in my home recording studio is my Ernie Ball Music Man Stingray and Fender Precision Bass American made. You may see that I have a lot of very expensive guitars, but I've only acquired these guitars the last couple of years. Most of my playing career, I've been playing Squiers and cheap Epiphones, off-branded guitars. So even though I have very nice high-end guitars now, that's not how it's always been. As far as drums go, I like playing on my Roland TD-17. Now what I do is, I don't like the drum sounds that you get from the TD-17, so I have Tunestrack Superior Drummer, so I have it hooked up via USB. I like to mix and match all the different kits that you can get from the software packs that you get from Superior Drummer. So I kind of mix and match, and that's how I get the drum sounds that you hear in a lot of my recordings. I don't have an acoustic kit because they take up much more room than I have in this studio. So the TD-17 just works really great. I don't have to really worry too much about tuning drums. You do have to EQ your drums in the Superior Drummer mixing application. So all I have to do is get behind the kick, everything is rerouted from Superior Drummer, goes right to my interface, and I'm ready to rock and roll. From a lot of the home studios that I've seen in videos or just blogs, I feel like I have more of an old school approach. I like to mic everything up as opposed to just using different plugins. Now granted, there's nothing wrong with using stock plugins, there's nothing wrong with using MIDI controllers. I really like to record raw because it's got that authentic rock and roll in your face kind of a vibe. Even though I don't have a lot of these humongous $100,000 recording studios, I have a creative workspace where I can utilize creativity, I have structure, and I have just such an efficient workflow, and I can just rock out on some good tunes. If there's anything you guys want to add, or maybe have some questions for me, drop it in the comment section below. I do read all the comments, and I will respond to every comment that I see. Be sure to smash a like on the video, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my videos. I normally am going to be coming out with videos every Friday. Now, it might not be every Friday, but I'm going to try to come out with some kind of video on Friday, whether it's like a recording tips video, something like a studio vlog, or a music video. So I hope to see you guys soon, and I'll see you later.